Hello gorgeosities, how are you all doing today? I hope you are well. I am, but it's another humid stinker. Apologies in advance if there's too much fannage and too much waterlogging, but yeah, it's a stinker today. I'll try not to. So I'm just going to today to finish off with the Q&A. If you remember at the end of the last one, so we had our sort of house move, garden questions, and then some really random questions, including the paranormal and will you have a dog? And so these were the remaining ones, and then another one that came in. And again, they're sort of all over the place, but some of them requiring a slightly kind of deeper answer, but I will do my best to keep it light and fun as possible. So let's just dive straight in. So Amanda asked, so for all these years that I've had my own garden, I've been eating organically because I grow organic and it's really important to me. She said, will you, now that you're going to be buying your veggies, will you be buying organic or is that going to be too expensive? She says, I'm torn on this one myself. Yeah, Amanda, I'm really torn too. I think, I would like to have everything organic still, but the fact is, not everything I want to use in a recipe is even available as an organic option. There are so few options. And two, of course, the expense. And at the moment, my budget is so tight. So at the moment, it's going to be a mix, where I can get organic, I will try to. It'll be a mix. It's possible, I think one of the options when I move and I'm on the ground floor, so I'm not dealing with all the stairs, I'm talking about deliveries now. I think I will look into organic box delivery. It might be, fun. It will be seasonal, of course. I did it years ago when I first moved to this area in my previous flat. It was a ground floor flat. Which box did I do? I can't remember. I think it might have been Abel and Cole. So I have experienced the organic veg box delivery system before and I really liked it. I haven't looked at that kind of thing for years. I haven't needed to, so I don't know what the prices are like, but in a nutshell, Amanda, I'm the same as you. I'm torn because it's expensive, but on the other hand, it's so important to me. So we'll see. We'll just have to see as time goes on, and in the meantime, it's just going to be a mix of both. Okay, this is kind of going to be random. So Ant and Jane L both were asking about it seems a million years ago, my previous life in acting. Ant said, did you do a drama degree? Sort of. I did a mixed arts degree. So in the first 2 years, it's a 3-year degree. In the first 2 years, I was doing drama, fine art or art, because there were some applied arts. So drama, art, music and dance. And then in my final year, it was just drama and art. Loved it. I didn't particularly want to do a degree. I wanted to go straight to drama school, but my mum insisted I'd get a degree. I don't know why I listened to her. I was 18. I don't need to do what my mum says anymore. But anyway, I did. So, it was a mixed degree. And actually, that was great for me in a way because I love all the arts and I love doing all the arts. And, I was never going to be a musician, never going to be a dancer, too tall, apart from anything. Apart from maybe at Folies Bergère. I could have worked at Folies Bergère because of my height. But to be able to do drama and art was great because I love both so much. In terms of art, it was all the usual disciplines, life drawing, painting in oil, painting in acrylic, all of that sort of thing. But I started to move towards and specialised in large pieces, textiles, sculptural pieces, but lots of sort of textiles loved it. But then having finished my degree, struggled for a couple of years to get much by way of acting work, and thought, you know what, I need to go to drama school. So I did my postgraduate studies at drama school, and as soon as I'd been to drama school and I had that name of that, it was a very, very highly rated drama school. As soon as I had the name of that drama school on my CV, suddenly I was getting auditions. So, yay! Fab stuff. And then Jane L said, what kind of acting roles? So it was almost exclusively theatre. I'd done some TV stuff when I was really quite much younger. I don't really like performing in the medium of TV and film because it's such a technical medium. You can be 8 hours on set and they're fanning and faffing with lighting and sound, and the actors don't get to do their job because it's so technical. Much prefer theatre. It's live. You're on your own. As soon as that curtain goes up, that's it. The actors are controlling everything. It's not about control, you know what I mean? In terms of what sort of roles, quite classical. So if you think everything from sort of Shakespeare right up to sort of like Strindberg, Chekhov, Ibsen, that sort of thing. But also I did some slightly more modern stuff. Comedy, quite a bit of comedy. It's quite a good comedic actor. And also physical theatre, quite a lot of physical theatre. So any of you who are fans of Pina Bausch, she was an absolute heroine of mine. So that influenced some of the jobs I took. So theatre, but with quite a sort of a physical acrobatic element. I know it's hard to believe now, isn't it, as I'm lumbering along, hobbling with my knees. But yeah, doing some quite acrobatic stuff. Normally I'd be the base rather than the flyer, but a bit of flying too. So that's my acting stuff dealt with. I was going to try and... So I wanted to try and speed things up today, and I suddenly realised I'm gabbling. Yeah, you know, lots of fun, but I mentioned it in the previous Q&A when I was talking about wanting to have a dog and wanting to put some roots down somewhere. It's kind of tough when you're always on the road and, you know, you're living out of a suitcase, you're living in digs. Yeah, it was a wonderful part of life. But I'm really glad that I made the move to do something else and be more settled and, you know, be at the bookshop. But I travelled. I've worked in Europe, worked in Paris, worked in Montenegro just after, well, in terms of the Civil War, the UN were in place, but it was just afterwards, so all the scars of war were so evident everywhere. An amazing experience. I have so much gratitude for having that experience, but seeing things that no one should see, but at the same time, I'm there as a performer, I'm there as an actor. Yeah. Blessed life. I've had a blessed life. I'm very, very lucky. You know, blessed life, luck, is it anything to do with being blessed or lucky? No, you make your own luck, don't you? I worked hard. I worked really, really hard to, you know, keep things going. So hopefully that answers your questions. So sorry, I knew this was going to be a lot of water today. I don't know whether you pronounce it Cheryl or Cheryl, but Cheryl asked, will you consider this? So this is all of it. This is a very eclectic selection of questions. Cheryl asked, after your move, will you consider sewing commissions or just concentrate on lavender bags? Well, the fact is, Cheryl, I've been doing sewing commissions for 20 plus years. I've always been doing sewing commissions. Quite often it's, you know, oh my God, curtains are the bane of my life. I never want to touch curtains again. They're boring and bulky, and I I've never charged enough. I've never charged enough because sometimes I end up working a whole weekend on a pair of curtains, and I've said to someone, oh, I can do it for you for 20 quid. It's a whole weekend. Anyway, so I've always done sewing commissions. I prefer to not do that though. I prefer to make something and say, if you like it, buy it. If you don't like it, there's less pressure. Over the years, quite a lot of sort of, not dressmaking per se, but alterations, clothing alterations, taking up jeans, taking up a dress, letting things down, putting a new zip in, all of those kind of things. But honestly, it's boring work. I don't like it. There's nothing creative about it. It's just, in a way, it's kind of, over the years, I'm sort of doing my friend a favour by spending 8 hours working on something for them, and then they go, oh, thanks, and give me a fiver. It's not worth it. It's not worth it in terms of both the money, but also in terms of my brain. It's not creative. However, I have done, over the last few years, a few commissions by way of bunting. I've done bunting now for, I think it's 3 weddings. Yeah, 3. I've done bunting for baby showers and baby rooms. But again, I think this is something I'm definitely going to carry forward. What I need to do is I need to be a bit more commercial about it though, because honestly, what I've charged, because it's tended to be friends, I've charged so little. I cover the materials, but with some of those, like the wedding buntings, one of them was, I think, was it 40 metres? I did 40 metres of bunting. So by the time I'd done it all, charged the materials, I think it worked out my time. It worked out that I'd been paid 5 pence an hour. It's just ridiculous. So that's my own fault. That's my own fault. I feel a bit like, charging people. So I am going to correct that. But I think the thing about commissions, one is, if I charged the rate of, say, the minimum wage in the UK is around about, it's changed recently, I think it's about £11. If I charged them £11 an hour for my work, people would just walk away because you'd end up spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds because of the materials and my time. So I have to charge less. All crafters, all of you who are crafters know this. None of us can charge minimum wage because people will just go and buy a plastic version from China. So the charging is tricky, but also I think when it's a commission, or certainly I feel way more pressure to make it like so perfect. And also the time scale. I've had people saying, oh, can you do it this weekend? No, but I need it this weekend. Oh, okay, I'll cancel my life and do it for you. So it's silly. It's silly to do things where I end up afterwards begrudging it, that it got in the way of my life. I didn't make any money, etc., etc. So onto the positive now. I think one of the things I want to focus on when I move, I'm not going to have an allotment when I move. I'm planning that I have a back garden. So I'll cut out that journey time to and fro from the allotment, but also I'm not going to be growing as much, as intensively. So the time that I claw back from not having an allotment, my plan is to do more sewing. And people say to me, oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Please, I don't need your suggestions of things that I could sew to put in my shop. I'm a very creative person. I have a book full of ideas. And I don't mean that in a churlish way, but people say, oh, you could do this. Yeah, I know I could if I had time. But yeah, going forward, once I've moved, that's definitely something I want to do. So no, or almost no in terms of commissions, but definitely in terms of sewing, yes, lavender bags, yes, bunting, but other things and more besides. Honestly, I can't wait. I have so many ideas and they've been bubbling away for ages, and you know, I needed to get the garden wrapped up, done. I need to get the house move wrapped up. Once that's done, then I can finally get my teeth into things. But also in terms of, excuse me a sec, one of the other things which I've been dying to do, actually for years, it's been building over years, is my slow sew packs, my slow journal, junk journal, however you want to call it, slow sewing junk journal packs that I want to put together, because I've got so many different bits and pieces, and I'm going to really enjoy the process of putting them together as little collections for folk to buy, curating these little moments of fabrics, scraps of old linens, bits of embroidery, maybe some yarns and threads, and I can't wait. Honestly, this move now, it can't come soon enough. I am so ready. I want to start my new life. It's not a new life, it's just a new chapter. I can't wait to start my new chapter, and sewing, I hope, is going to feature more than ever. Because I won't have that whole garden thing on me all the time. You know, let's say at the height of the season, I was doing 30 to 40 hours with the allotment. I would hope that having a back garden, I can reduce that to 10 hours a week. I mean, possibly even less, but 10 hours a week, and have 10, 20, 30 hours extra a week for sewing. But I'll still be doing my YouTube and my shop, so it'll still be a 60, 70, 80 hour week, but it's all stuff I love. Can't wait. I think that answers your question, doesn't it, Cheryl? Or Cheryl. I'm sorry if I've pronounced it incorrectly. Emma asked, it's my own writing, I've scribbled it so small. Talking about strict budget. Is there anything you feel you're missing out on, or does it make you appreciate things even more, like a new book? This is a whole video in itself. I would say generally in the kind of the big life picture, no, I don't think I'm missing out on anything. I'm happy, I have friends that I enjoy, I have lovely quiet relaxation time that I enjoy, I have work that I enjoy. The nitty gritty of, is there anything I miss? There are a couple of things I miss from my old life when I was working. I miss having paid sick leave. So now if I get sick and have to take some time off work, I don't get paid, and that becomes quite a stress and a pressure. So the one thing you don't want when you're sick, like that time back when I was in hospital with that horrible pneumonitis, viral pneumonitis, is when one comes out of hospital, one should be quiet, one should take time to convalesce and get better before getting back to work. That wasn't an option for me because I'm not paid whilst I'm not working. So I do miss that. I miss sick pay. And I also miss holiday pay. I miss paid annual leave. Oh, when I think about it now, it worked out actually both in terms of at the bookshop and then through into nursing. It would work out about the equivalent of about 1 week's paid annual leave for every 2 and a bit months worked. It's about 5 weeks of the year in total. The idea of being able to have a week off and still be getting an income. Oh, so you know what? That's what I miss. I miss sick pay and I miss annual leave pay. But you know, I'm really optimistic about, you know, for when I move, little changes. I've been making some little changes over the last sort of 18 months or so. And it's all about gearing up to having a slightly different work-life balance, slightly different life once I've moved. That's why I can't wait now. Excuse me, another gulp. Marina. Marina, your question worried me a bit. The way it was phrased, I was thinking, oh gosh, is this what you think? I hope it's not. I hope this isn't what I've given off in my videos. But Marina asked, do you ever regret choosing the life you have? God, that's a bit heavy and negative. And does it ever feel like it's all too much? So Marina, I think you might have, I don't know whether it was sort of a bit of an accident of semantics, but it all feels a bit heavy and negative. So firstly, let's address the second part. Does it ever feel like it's all too much? Well, you know what? Yeah, of course it does. But that's life. That, you know, there were days during my nursing life when I thought, oh, this is all too much. There were days in my bookshop life when I thought, oh, this is all too much. There were days in my acting life when I thought, oh, this is all too much. Even in my childhood, there were days when I thought, oh, it's all too much. The fact is, I don't think anyone gets through life without having moments where they think, this is just, it's all too much. I can't cope. I'm fed up. I've had enough. I want out. I think that's just being human, surely. So I don't think I have those moments more now than at previous times in my life. I have them. I have them quite frequently, but A, I never give in, and B, I think it's just life. I think that's just life. And when I have those moments, because I've had those moments all through my life, I know, and I tell myself, I know that it's going to pass. And I trust myself enough that whatever situation I'm in that's negative, I will get myself out of that and it will be okay tomorrow, you know? So yeah, it does all feel like too much at times, but that's nothing to do with how I live. That's just life and living. But the first part, do you ever regret choosing the life you have? I suppose you mean life as in like how I live right now rather than my whole life. Do I regret my whole life? I don't regret my whole life at all. I try not to have regrets, actually, because regrets mean that you're looking backwards, you're looking at the past and, you know, regretting something rather than being here and now and planning and hoping for tomorrow, which brings me to the last question. But also, again, it might be a semantics thing. Do I regret choosing this life? I didn't choose it. It's a hand I was dealt. I didn't choose to leave the nursing job that I'd worked and studied so hard for and was really establishing myself in that world as, you know, quite a senior nurse in my ward in that position. I didn't choose to leave. I simply physically could no longer do the job. I had to leave because of, frankly, crippling arthritis. So I didn't choose this life, but what I did was I was dealt a bad hand in that moment and I thought, okay, how can I make the most of this situation? I know, I'll go it alone and see how I manage. And here I am 7.5 years later, still no wage, just about managing. But more than anything, for the most part, happy. I'm happy, I'm content. Most days are good days. Most days are content days. But yeah, back to the second part of the question. Of course, there are days when it's all too much. And there are days when I'm stressing and freaking and worrying because bills are going up, but income isn't. But for the most part, putting the semantics aside that I didn't choose this life and that I don't do regret, putting all that aside, I'm happy. And that's, what more can you want in life than just to be happy? Yay! Which brings me on to Patricia's question. So Patricia, I won't get the... Patricia's the lass who sent me the volume of poems. She asked, it's kind of a multi-question. She said, what do you dream about? I don't think she means dreams as in, you know, weird stuff, nightmares, whatever. I think she means, what do you dream about as in my waking state? What do I dream about as in the future? What do you dream about? Which dreams have already come true? Do you leave your dreams to the universe, or do you make plans to make the dreams happen? I don't know that, you know, when I was younger, I dreamed of being an actor. But I'm definitely someone who, rather than dream about it, I tend to think of it this way. Rather than having dreams, I have goals. Because dreams are kind of fluffy. They float around, they're up there. They're sort of intangible, ephemeral. Whereas goals are specific things that I can work towards. So I dreamed of being an actor. No, I wanted to be an actor, and I set about doing what I needed to do to be an actor. Like I was saying about going to drama school as a postgraduate, I knew that by going to drama school, a good drama school, getting that good name on the CV would help me to get work. It did. So in terms of right now, the future and dreaming, it's like I was hinting at the other day about picturing that garden of the future. I try not to too much. So rather than dreaming of this sort of new life and it's all idyllic and it's all goals. It's, I want to move, I need to move, I'm going to move to a ground floor flat. What do I need to do to make that happen? I'm doing it. Once I'm in that flat, I want to establish a garden. What will I need to do to make the new garden happen? Well, I won't know that until I've moved, because I don't know what I'm going to get. And then, like I was saying just now about all the sewing that I want to do, how am I going to make that happen? Well, I can only, rather than dream about it, I'd love to sew this and I'd love to sew that, and I dream of sitting under an acacia hand embroidering. It's more a case of, I want to do that, how can I make it happen? So I love that question, Patricia. Is it Patricia or Patricia? I love that question because, yeah, I'm quite a dreamy girl. I'm quite a daydreamer. I do picture things and I hope for things and I wish for things and I imagine things. But ultimately, when I do want something, I make it a goal that I break down into steps. I come backwards and break it down into steps in order to work through that, to achieve it, so that rather than just dreaming about it, I can actually live it and do it. Yay! And I think on that note, positive note, I can't wait to move. Right, I'm going to leave it there for now. I don't know what's coming up next. I have no clue what's coming up next. Yeah, it might just be more chat. I can't predict. I don't know. So instead of me trying to tell you what's coming next, I'm just going to say for today, I hope you are all well, and I hope whatever you dream about, I hope you can turn your dream into a goal and make it happen. Yay, if you can. But for now, I need to go and find my fan. Oh, it's there, isn't it? I need to go and cool down. I need to go and throw all the windows open again. Stick my head out. I think there's a bit of drizzle, and just let the drizzle cool me down. I will see you all again. I'm waffling, I know. I'll see you all again really soon. I don't know what for, but until then, please look after yourselves. And for now, cheerio.